Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Muse24, and this is part 2 of my review of the Master Grade Wing Zero Custom. I've already gone over the decals, the colors included in the kit, and the clear parts. So this part is going to cover the poseability of the kit, the weapons and accessories included, the transformation mode, and hopefully if I can squeeze enough time in at the end, my final thoughts on the kit. So let's jump right into this. First thing I'm going to do here is the cockpit, and you'll notice that this bit here is a little bit raised above the clear part, and there's nothing really to grab onto, which is kind of disappointing. I mean, like, the Strike Gundam had little bits that you could pull onto, like on the sides there, but once you do get it open, it is nicely detailed in there with a little cockpit seat and Heero Yuy flying the mobile suit, and you can just push that back in easy enough. The head will go up and down on the ball joint, and then there's a hinge here that allows it to rock back and forth. You can rotate it 360 if you force it, but I'm not going to because of the chin kind of hits against these. But you know, it'll be able to rock side to side a little bit. No problems there. Also, these little machine guns do open up, and you kind of have to pull them up and forwards, and they can be a little bit awkward because they do hit up against these you know, navy blue bits on the side of his head, but when you finally get them open, they look pretty cool. It does look a little bit awkward though, because that top cannon tends to hang underneath the cover here, and I've fiddled around with it before enough where it kind of pops open further, but for the most part I find that this is how it usually tends to look. Overall, not that big of a complaint, though. The arms can move in and out of the torso there, can rotate 360 at the shoulder, and actually the shoulder joint here is on a separate hinge from the actual joint at the arm there. The arm can go out about that far, can rotate 360 below the shoulder, and then this little bit here does move more so for the transformation mode than anything else. You do get a nice 180 bend, more or less. The wrists can rotate at the ball joint in the socket there, and then you are going to have the standard ball joint thumb, the trigger finger, and then the 3 fingers attached there, and mine are a little bit more tight because I did go ahead and paint them. The torso can basically wobble around like that, can kind of do this bend here to get into his, you know, his firing mode for the Buster Rifle. And if you look at the back, this part here in the rear is raised up enough so that it doesn't look like, you know, you can see inside the kit all that much. The side skirts can move up and down a fair amount, can kind of rotate back and forth. The back skirt armor, even though you really can't see it that much behind the wings here, is on a swivel bar, and it can move a little bit. This is one thing I kind of thought was a little cheap on Bandai's part, is that you only get one solid piece for the back skirt armor, and so those vents there, they don't look very detailed in comparison to other parts of the kit. I understand that the back skirts aren't that visible when you're posing it, but compared to what they did with the front skirts here, it seems kind of cheap, but again, not that big of a complaint. The front skirt armor are on 2 separate ball joints, and you know, they can flip up about that high, can rotate a little bit, move around. The legs, if you get the front skirt armor out of the way, can go that far forwards, can go that far backwards. That's pretty much as far as the back skirt armor allows them to go. Can go out to the side about that far, and can bend pretty much 180, and then you can move the kneecap here, although it doesn't move quite as flush with the rest of the leg like the Strike Gundam does, simply because of the size of this kit and just the way it's built and everything. You are going to get some movement out of the ankle guard because they're on 2 pegs on the sides of the leg there. This little flap over the ankle will move a little bit and can kind of wiggle side to side, and then the foot can go side to side, can go back and forth, and then it does bend down for, say, like a taking off, flight pose, and also for the transformation mode. The wings are attached to the backpack here, and you've got movement here, and then there's rotation there. On the backpack here, you've got a hinge here, and then a peg that attaches to this bar, which goes out to the wing, and then you've got another peg here and another hinge here. And with both of these hinges, you've got these little ridges, and I don't think you can see them all that well on the camera, but basically these little ridges are meant to lock the piece in place when you're done moving it, you know, without having to press a switch or anything to keep it locked in place. Although I do find that this wing tends to fall down more so than that one, for whatever reason. You also have the same sort of hinges on the back here with these smaller wings, and this one tends to come out of its spot more than the other one. I don't know why, but if I pull this out, you can see it's just a peg that goes in there, and then it swings on this joint, and then this can rotate out here, and see, there it goes, it just fell off on me. It only seems to really fall off on this side when I've got the wing extended. But at any rate, both of these wings can fold out like this, and there's some nice detail on them. They also hold the handles for the beam sabers, which is nice, and you do get 2 of those. And then for these wings, they kind of fold out automatically when you pull on this bit, so you've got a more flush, open-looking and detailed wing there, and you can see there's some parts underneath that are hidden when you've got it folded up. And each of these separate feather pieces, if you will, is made out of a rubbery type material, so they're not going to break when you put them on. It's a very smart move on Bandai's part, and each of them is attached by a ball joint, with the only exception being that these ones are on ball joints which are attached to a bar, and they will flip outwards for the transformation mode when we get to that. One thing I should note with the Wing Zero Custom is that its weight distribution is a little uneven. It's not as dramatic as something like the Master Grade New Gundam, where, you know, everything's tilting to one side. But if you do splay the wings out to make it more, I don't know, stylized or dramatic or whatever you're aiming for, it will tend to fall backwards a little bit just because the wings are a little bit heavier than I initially expected. But you can remedy this by putting the Wing Zero Custom on its action base, which will give you overall better results in terms of posing, I think. As you can see here, I did prop him up on his lower 2 wings a little bit there. But you do get a figure of Heero Yuy that's included, and like all these figures, I don't really plan on painting it. You do get 2 clear green beams, which is a very different color than most Master Grades come with, and they are slightly curved, which is kind of cool. And then you can pop those in the beam saber handles. And even though the Wing Zero Custom doesn't have any pegs in his hands, I find that he holds his weapons just fine. Either one of the Buster Rifles has a handle that can fold into the gun on the bottom there, and then there's also a little bit that pops out of the middle here, and then this part folds down to connect the 2 together as one giant double Buster Rifle weapon. And I forgot to mention in the sticker portion that there's also a metallic green sticker here on the scope for this. The included action base has 2 settings that you can put it at. One where it's more angled forwards here if you wanted to make it look like it was flying forwards or something, and then you can pop it out and push it back down on this other peg to have a more straight up angle to make it look like he's just hovering or ready to fire his Buster Rifle or whatever. There's normally a little piece covering this area here, but as you can see in that gap, there's a sort of a bar-looking piece that just connects right onto the action base here, and it fits snugly enough in there. And with the Buster Rifles in either one of the Wing Zero Custom's hands, there's no connection issues, and he's got a pretty solid grip on them. But of course, arguably the most memorable scene from Endless Waltz was when the Wing Zero Custom fired his twin Buster Rifles on the Brussels residence. And I have to say, recreating that is pretty simple. There's some fiddling you have to do with the hands, but overall, the connection is very solid on the twin Buster Rifle, and getting his arms and the shoulders in place for that is pretty simple. To transform the Wing Zero Custom, we're going to start with the shoulders here. You're going to fold this piece up into the bottom, and then you're going to pull the shoulder out and kind of fold it down so it looks more flush with the rest of the arm here. For the legs, you're going to fold the feet down like that and keep the ankle guard a little bit flush with it, and then you're going to push the middle of the leg up and then have the kneecap kind of fold down over the lower part of the leg there. And when you do go to fold the shoulder pieces down, you can move the whole section there off on the bar because there's a little bit of open space there. Then you're going to fold the connector to the wing down like that and kind of wiggle this around until it's right in the front, and then this bar here is going to allow these pieces to flip forwards. There's a connection here in the middle that doesn't really snap into place, but it more or less just rests against each other, and that's largely because of the fact that these pieces here are rounded and kind of push against each other a bit much. But overall, I think the transformation mode is very solid. It looks a lot like it appears in the film when Heero goes to reactivate the Wing Zero Custom and take it to Earth. And I think Bandai really captured that look and feel from the film as best they could. Despite the fact that the Wing Zero Custom is relatively inexpensive in terms of master grades, and is one of the smaller lead mobile suits from the Gundam Meta series as a whole, I definitely say it's a pretty impressive kit. Really emphasizes a lot of the high points of the master grade line in terms of its poseability and its detail. Like I said, there are a few small complaints that I have, such as the lack of detail on like the back of the skirt armor and a couple other parts over the kit, and the fact that the machine guns over the shoulders there don't quite work to their full potential. But overall, I'd say the kit is a really solid build. It comes with some great accessories. The fact that you get an action base included is a definite plus. The wings are nicely detailed. There's some cool like inner mechanic workings for the overall model kit, and it's a great representation of Heero Yuy's final Gundam from the Gundam Wing timeline. Another point that I want to make is that the build of the kit is very enjoyable, but at the same time it's very intuitive, and I wouldn't say it's incredibly easy, but it's a little bit more fluid than some of the other kits. You don't feel frustrated when you're building this kit. It's very rewarding, and it's a fun build overall. So if you are a fan of Gundam Wing or Endless Waltz, if you're trying to collect a lead master grade from every series like I am, if you just like the look of the mobile suit, or if you are looking to start your first master grade, any of the above would be a great reason to go ahead and get the master grade Wing Zero Custom. Don't forget to rate and comment below, subscribe if you like what you see, and with that, I will see you guys next time.